I don't know who needs to hear this, but not every school deserves to hire you. So let's talk about it. Hi, my name's Helena, coach for new and first year teacher, and welcome to the present teacher. So, with that being said, let's dive in. So, let's start off by breaking the people pleasing cycle. You don't have to fit in everywhere, and in fact, you shouldn't. A great example of this is when I was in middle school, I used to hang out with the popular group. However, as time went on, I started to notice that some of the girls I was hanging out with started putting down some of the other girls in my class and my classmates. And the more I started to lean into what made me unique and different, the more I started to not fit in with these group of girls. And what I love is by the end of middle school and the end of high school, I actually had my own group of friends that were very strong in their uniqueness and their authenticity. And we were all weird in our own unique ways, and I loved it. And so, the whole point of this conversation is the right people see you, and the wrong people won't even notice you. And that's good. That's what I say to myself when it comes to here, the present teacher. It's easy to get scared that people are going to judge me, that I'm going to have hater comments. But the truth is, the right people who resonate with what I have to say are going to listen, and the people that don't are just gonna scroll past and not even pay attention. So the same goes with districts. The right districts are going to see your uniqueness, see your weirdness, and be attracted to you, while the wrong ones are going to just look past you, and that's a good thing. You don't want everyone's attention, you want the right attention and the right people to create the right environment for you. So now that we talked about the breaking and the people pleasing cycle, let's talk about the truth. Trying to fit in will drain you. When I was little and I tried to fit in with those particular groups of girls, it was exhausting trying to fit in and remember the recent trend and to like what they liked and to just hide my uniqueness and weirdness. And the wrong environment will drain you too. When it comes to working for the wrong district, those places will drain you. It'll make you feel burned out, like you don't fit in, like it doesn't resonate with you, like you should be doing more. And the right ones will light you up. When you find a district that's aligned with you around your mission, it's not that that district has to be perfect by any means, but you will feel powerful, impactful, supported, grateful. You will feel like people appreciate you, appreciated. And it's like a breath of fresh air working in somewhere that accepts you for who you are versus working somewhere that you feel like you have to be a certain way. These places can also make you feel like you belong. And the truth is, I want that for you. I want you to work in environments where you feel like you belong, where you feel like you are making a difference, where you are making an impact, because that's why you started teaching in the first place. And you deserve that joy and you deserve that happiness. And I know if it's possible for me and the teachers I help, then it's possible for you too. So now that we talked about the truth, let's talk about reframing this mindset that, you should be grateful for any school that hires you. The truth is, not every school deserves to hire you. So it's no is just an opportunity for something better. If you got told by a district a no, that's not saying that you're not worthy, you're not a good teacher. It has nothing to do with your worth. That just shows you that that wasn't the right door for you, and there's a better door coming for you, a better district, more aligned district looking for you. So when that happens, the biggest piece of advice I could give you is to let go, because something more aligned is around the corner. Something that comes to mind with this is I've talked a little bit about this on my channels, but we were trying to have Annie here for 2 years. I actually had stopped teaching full time and I had taken a part-time position because I knew we were planning on starting our family. And every month it wouldn't happen, and I felt more and more devastated. And I ended up going to a fertility clinic, and they told us that the only way we'd have Addie is through IVF and several cycles. They said about 4 to 5 cycles for us to have him. And it didn't resonate with me. I felt like a no, but the truth is, now I know that all those no's had to happen for what happened next. I went with my gut. I trusted my gut. I leaned into my weirdness. I leaned into what felt aligned. And I ended up hiring a naturopathic nutritionist. And I worked on my nervous system. I worked on my diet. And 3 months later, I was pregnant naturally. And the reason I say this is sometimes, especially when you're in the thick of it, those no's can feel really heavy. And it can feel like it's tied to your worth, like you're not enough and you don't deserve the outcome. But the truth is that the outcome is better than you could have ever imagined. And it's only a matter of time. Every single month added up to this moment of me holding him while I'm on this week's content, recording it right now with you. And if I had listened to those no's and thought it meant that I was never meant to be a mother, then I wouldn't be here right now holding him. And so those no's don't mean anything about you. They just mean that something more aligned is right around the corner. So, like I said, no to a job just means there's a better one out there, more aligned out there for you. When I went for my first teaching position, I applied to 3 districts. Only two of them asked for an interview. I wasn't so caught up on that third one because I knew it had nothing to do with whether or not I was a good teacher or I was going to be a good teacher. It just meant that district wasn't aligned with me. And of those 2 districts, I went through the interviews and both of them offered me the teaching position during the interviews, and I really got to sit with which one felt more aligned with me, and I didn't say no out of guilt. I got to choose which one was more aligned with me and was going to help me become the teacher I was meant to be. So, no to a job just means that there's a better one, a more aligned one out there for you. So, now that we talked about the reframe, let's talk about the identity shift. So, the identity shift is it's not that you want to get hired anywhere, you want to get hired in the right spot. You know your worth. You are worthy because you are, and your worth as a teacher isn't measured by whether or not this next job says yes or no. It's measured by the impact you get to make. You are worthy because you are, and you know your value. You don't need the approval of a district to tell you that. You don't need a job offer to tell you that. You get to tell you that. And you are selective of your environment and who you let in that environment because you know how important it is. It's not, ooh, I hope I get any job. It's I know my worth and my value, and I'm going to get hired by the right job because I plan on staying in this profession long term, and I deserve an environment where I feel supported, where I feel aligned. And the experiences I've seen from the teachers I've helped, from teachers who have worked in environments that didn't feel aligned versus the ones that did, are completely night and day. And you deserve that too. So now that we talked about the identity shift, let's talk about how to take action. So think of one no and reflect on how that was an identity or sorry, not an identity, an opportunity in disguise, much like I did with finding out I couldn't conceive Addie naturally. I was told no by many doctors, but that no just meant something greater was going to happen around the corner that I couldn't even imagine happening. When people told me no on starting this business, this community, I was told not to start the present teacher because nobody, no new or first year teacher would bother listening to my content, let alone investing in themselves and their career. And that is definitely not the case. This is now my full-time thing of helping teachers online. So if I would have listened to those no's, I wouldn't be here. And reflect on how that was an opportunity in disguise. I wouldn't be here today without it. I wouldn't be here recording this podcast and YouTube video on a Tuesday holding my son while he sleeps. So just think of how no is actually a yes to something greater and something better. So take some time to think about the times you were told no and reflect on how that was actually a blessing or an opportunity in disguise. So to wrap up this week's content, we talked about how to break the people-pleasing cycle. We talked about the truth, how to reframe this mindset that you should go with any district, but the truth is not every district deserves to hire you. And we talked about the identity shift of you stepping into that new teacher next door and how you are going to now step into the room during an interview and know that not every district deserves you. You get to be selected. You get to choose. You have the power. You don't need to react and be gripping and desperate. You get to have the final say. And we talked about how to take action, on how to reflect on how a no was actually secretly a yes to something better. So if you found this week's content especially resonating, I'd really appreciate if you can send me a DM or a comment letting me know what you found most helpful. If you could pass this along to more teachers, I am really on a mission to keep good teachers in the classroom. And I know that starts with getting those good teachers into good districts that feel aligned with them. It's not about getting hired anywhere. It's about getting hired in the right district. And selfishly, I want good teachers in schools. I want good teachers as coworkers. I want good teachers for Addie. And so I know since you're here, you are one of those teachers. So if you know a good teacher who's looking for their first or next teaching position, you could pass this along so more teachers reach it. I would really appreciate it. If you want to continue the conversation about interviewing, make sure to check out my free teacher interview guide. It's got my top 10 strategies on how to get hired by the right district, not any district. What it does is it links to 10 additional podcasts and YouTube videos because I've got a ton of content now, which I absolutely love what I do, but it can take a bit to sift through. So if you're looking for just a shortcut to those resources, make sure to check out that free guide. If you want done for you cover letter and resumes where I have plug and play, you just fill them out and you can customize them to the specific district or school you're applying to, make sure to check out the teacher interview bundle. It has over 10 matching cover letter and resume templates. I already filled out for you. You just have to fill them in. I have examples in there, my personal resume and cover letter that I used. I also show you how to customize each one for each district, what specifically to customize, as well as follow-up emails. I have a thank you email in there. I have a request for a letter of recommendation in there. I also have a demo lesson template in there that I used during my demo lessons. And what's great about those is I actually got such high praise from the admin when I used those that I actually asked my permission to use them and pass them out to the district for teachers who were looking for lesson plan templates for observation. So that's pretty cool. So make sure to check that out. If you want to take it a step further and you want the whole process to not just getting hired anywhere, but the right place, the place where you're going to feel aligned, where you're going to feel respected, valued, and appreciated, make sure to check out Land Your Dream Job. That is my experience that walks you through the entire process from researching districts, narrowing it down, how to customize the teacher interview experience for that specific district so it feels aligned like a coffee chat with a friend, to how to show up during that interview so it feels easy, almost to the point where it feels like you're cheating honestly, or just, like I said, just ranting about things you're passionate about, to what to do immediately following an interview. So if you want my whole process for that, make sure to check that out. This is an experience I absolutely love because I love the results I've gotten from other teachers about how it's completely changed the game for their interviews. I've had several teachers who have applied to multiple districts, never got an interview or a call back, or had interviews that just didn't go well, to using this process, and they had a dream interviews with their dream district and got hired. And so I really love this experience, what it does for a teacher. So make sure to check it out. All right, as always, remember we are stronger together, and I'll see you in the next one, teacher bestie. Bye.